Hey, what's going on, folks? Tre'Leon Bay here, and I just got finished having a life coaching session with my wife, and we seem to be doing this like on a daily now. But I wanted to actually share with you some things that we actually came upon and throughout our session here today, and it may actually help you. So I'm trying to put out more content, more information for just folks out there who may just be scrolling down on Facebook just doing the normal. You might actually get some information, some things that may actually transform you and transform your life into an actual breakthrough if you just stick with me for a couple of seconds here as I break down this concept for you, okay? And so, not to get into a lot of detail about the personal situation, but ultimately what it came down to, and what I do well is I really break down to actual root of problems and then find solutions from there. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes it takes some breakthroughs to even get to the root of the problem. And then it also takes breakthroughs to have somebody admit it and be on the progress on wanting to fix those problems. And so what it came down to, the very root of the problem was just, somebody not knowing how to deal with stimuli that's outside of themselves. All right, so, me as a, psychologist major in college and stuff like that, and I didn't really use that degree to that extent. I do a lot of things outside that degree, but I still use a lot of those things now when it comes down to analysis and breaking things down. So I'm very thankful for some of those things. But when it came down to it, was this individual, it came down to outside the stimuli. So with certain times, we can have a whole lot of things going outside ourselves. You got thoughts, you got people, places, sounds, all types of things. And so some people have what's called, panic attacks or anxiety issues or just depression, or you can call it all types of things. They frame you and call it, whatever type of things that most society would call it. But what it comes down to is really you knowing yourself. All right? It sounds simple, but I'm going to break down to you how you can go and find this place that'll help you to escape all of those other things. I'm gonna help you to find this place if you just follow me for a second. I'm gonna help you to get there, right? So the solution that I'm gonna provide to you, you don't have to be spiritual, you don't have to be religious, none of those things. All of those things are just terms and words that we really thought they really have no meaning of what the heck they are. So you don't have to be any of those things. The solution that I'm about to provide that can really take you somewhere that's really so peaceful and stable and in yourself that you can determine the difference between outside stimuli and things that are inside of you, and you can know the difference and know how to use it. So just to give an example of a solution that you can do is I'm gonna use meditation to actually take you to this place that I'm talking about, because this is the easiest way that I can get you there, is using this meditative tactic. All right, now there's different ways that you can meditate. I use all different types of ways of meditation, but this particular one was one that I used for a certain situation with someone specially. So if it's something that you might be going through personally, then it's probably something that we probably would need to talk about personally, and I can guide you in a certain ways to get there. But for this particular situation, the meditation that I'm about to describe can help you to control your and get to you and where you are inside difference than outside stimuli, so that can't affect you, right? So with the meditation that I'm describing, let me see if I can just map it out for you a bit. What you want to do is, the first thing you want to do is you want to find a quiet space at your home somewhere, or wherever you're comfortable at. If your home isn't comfortable, then you have to find a quiet space somewhere else, whether that's in the car or, you have to seek that out, because you have to start with somewhere physically quiet so that I can take you into how you can always find quiet here regardless of what's outside of you. But first we're going to, start with the physical and grow from there, right? So first you want to find somewhere quiet. And so let's use an example. Let's say your room, let's say you have a room. Hopefully it's a room by yourself. If it's with a roommate, they're not there or whatever. So you find a room and a time and a space that's quiet for you. And inside your room, this will be the room here, Inside the room, you want to have just a table. And then you want to have your chair. All right. And then if you want, you can have a candle. This is not, necessary. This is just, a lot of this stuff is symbolic. And a lot of symbolic things and a lot of symbolic symbols is really just triggers and help direct you to directions that are just, you need no words, you need no physical things in order to describe it. But these are things that just to help you to get there physically, to guide you along the way. All right, so you want to be sitting here, and what you want to do is you just want to make sure that, your door is locked. Make sure anybody that is in your household, they know that this is your time, that you're going to take some time to yourself. And we don't know what that time is going to be, really, because you don't know. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour, an hour, however long it takes you to get to this place that I'm about to describe. You want to tell people to just, leave you alone at that time. Lock the door, don't come in. You don't, you're not bothered with any of those stuff. If somebody asks you something, you're ignoring it. All of that stuff, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to be sitting here, and the first thing you want to do is clear your mind. All right, now that sounds simple, but it's really going to be harder than what it sounds right now if you actually haven't tried it, or if you've never tried it before. If you've never tried it before, it's going to take a little bit of time sometimes, and regardless of how long it takes, just do it. Even if it takes you a week, takes you a few months, just keep doing this, because this is, I'm telling you, is going to take you somewhere that nobody else is going to ever be able to take from you. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to clear your mind. And so there's going to be a lot of things that's going to happen during this time frame, and you sitting here, and it's just you, and you got the window here, and you got, you got birds that's flying there, you got the kids that's behind this door, and they, playing around, making noise. You got all types of stuff that's happening in the background. You got cars driving by. You got thoughts about what you need to do today, what you got to do tomorrow. You got work, you got stress, you got relationships. You got all of these things that's happening in your mind at this time that you're not even noticing really or keeping track of on a day-to-day basis. But when you sit here in this chair right here with this you in the mind, you're going to start to notice all these things that try to fly by and try to get into your ear, into your sense. And sometimes you'll fall victim during this time that you're sitting there, because you want to sit there. And one of the hardest things is for us to be alone in our own space, in our own thoughts. That's one of the hardest things. And so some of you guys that's listening to this probably won't even do the exercise because you're that fearful of actually getting into that space. But just get outside your comfort zone right now. If you've never meditated before, just get outside of it and just practice. Just see what I'm talking about here with this, all right? So you're here and you're in this table and you're just sitting there, and you notice all of these thoughts going by, and what you want to do is, it's different for everybody, whether or not you got to stop the thoughts, whether or not you kind of got to let them go by. Whatever it is that you got to do, just your intentions is to quiet your mind. And so you want those thoughts to be out of here, to disappear. And so slowly but surely, you'll start to have more and more control over these thoughts as you have those intentions and you're sitting there in that space with just you and your thoughts. And you're going to start to control those thoughts and be the one in control, and not just have the thoughts run rampant and do what they want to do. And so at that point, you're going to see them slow down a bit. You might fall victim to a few and start letting them travel you on to a space that, you're going to bring yourself back sometimes. And then when you get into that space where all of a sudden it's like, bang, I'm controlling it right now. Like, I have them. Everything is paused. At that time, things are going to get quiet. It's going to get quiet. And you're going to have this feeling, this overwhelming feeling that's just like, okay, now what do I do? And if you listen clearly, it's going to be an answer that comes up of what you should be doing next. And then you're going to start to be able to have a conversation with that self. Because that's you in there. And a lot of people call it, God or your higher self or universe, whatever you want to call it, that's you in there. That's the real you. Because you ain't noticed it before. You had so much stimuli outside yourself, people and things and situations and how you should be in society and TV. You didn't really know you. And so when you find that and you hear that voice, it's going to sound familiar because it's you. And it's going to have an answer for that question. Like, what do I do now? It's going to be an answer. And then if you can listen at this time, and also if you can ask direct questions on whatever it is that you need direction with at that time, you can actually ask that question and actually get an answer from that self in here. Because we have everything we need inside of us. Everything. Everything that's outer is inner also. Everything. So anything that you need is here first. We have outside stimuli that can help us sometimes. It can trigger us. It can jumpstart us to be able to get there. But ultimately, we got to find that path in here, right? And so when you hear that self and you start to really have that relationship with that self, nobody's going to be able to take that from you, because now you're going to be able to hear clearly the difference between that self in here that guides you versus other things that's not in that intention, in that same intention. You're going to be able to recognize the difference. So that God is going to be always inside here, right? And so when somebody else comes outside of you, say for instance, just as a perfect example, say you're traveling somewhere or you're out somewhere and you know that you feel good right now. You know, I'm in a good place. I feel great. Things are going great. And then you get around a certain person and all of a sudden your energy like real quick, zorped, done, zero. You feel sad, mad, whatever it is, that emotion that you didn't feel before. You know that wasn't you. That wasn't your thought. But you had something else or somebody else come around, whether or not that's your spouse, kids, work partner, whatever that is, that happens all the time. Without a person that comes zorp your energies away, and you all of a sudden go into their force field, into their energy field, because you didn't even notice the difference between yourself and that outside stimuli. Again. And so it doesn't matter who that person is, that person shouldn't be able to get through this fort right here. Like, this is a fort. Once you do this exercise a few times, this right here is going to be a fort that nobody's going to be able to break that fort. You're going to be able to bring this fort outside of your room and place this fort inside of the craziest ruckus that's happening anywhere. Doesn't matter where you are. You can be somewhere where there's fights, drunk people, court. You can be anywhere somewhere, right? And you can be there, and you can take your fort that you built right here after this exercise, and you can place your fort inside of that, and you can be stable and at peace because you know how to find that place. It doesn't matter where you at that point. Once you can just build from here and do that, you'll always be able to recognize the things outside of you versus the things that are in here. And that place in here will always be able to guide you throughout wherever you got to go through. All right, so that's in a nutshell, real quickly, just some tidbits on some breakthroughs that we provided today. And hopefully we breaking through on what you can be doing. So just try it out. Just try me out for a minute with that exercise and let me know how it goes. You can send me an inbox or whatever. You know, I'm cool with that. I'm trying to get Messenger on my phone so that I can actually have an inbox conversation. Or you can just leave a comment and I'll be back with you on what you felt about this exercise. Or if you have tried this before, or if you haven't tried this before, maybe you try some other type of meditation. Because like I said, there's all different types of ways of meditating. And I would love to explain more ways that can get you to certain places. So yeah, guys, see you later. Peace.